Welcome to Engagement Fundraising, where you'll learn how busy fundraisers like you are generating more major and planned gifts at lower costs. Brought to you by iMarketSmart.com, the software and services company that helps nonprofits raise more money more efficiently.
So the Apple X phone, right? So it's like $1,000. It's $1,000 phone. People are talking about it, to $1,000, right? All right. Well, yeah. Guess what? Charities around the world just lost out on like $400. This is what we call share of wallet. They only have so much, and they're going to spread it around. So you're competing against that at your nonprofit. You're competing against McDonald's. You're competing against that. You're competing against the next Disney vacation. They need to be engaged properly to carve out that out of their budget or their estate plan.
Hi there, I'm Tim Chatton, Marketing Solutionist at MarketSmart. On today's episode, I sit down with Greg Warner to discuss creating the Disney experience for your donors. Not sure what engagement fundraising is or how to create the Disney experience? Well, you will soon.
I wish I had a kazoo.
Yeah,
Do you know why?
so you could play some Disney tunes.
It's a small world after all. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Once you start hearing that, it doesn't go away for quite a while.
No.
It's kind of like poison ivy. I love that. I love that song, though, right? Once you start hearing that, it brings back all these memories of good times. And
Yeah.
one of my daughter's friends went after college. I mean, she graduated.
Yeah.
She always said she loved Disney.
Yeah.
And so now she's working there.
Oh, that's awesome.
She dresses up in one of those, she's a cast member.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think like for 6 months she's giving out cotton candy or something. And now she graduated. She gets to like work at a ride or,
There you go. Yeah.
and the training, she's so happy. The training is good. The pay is good. Lots of friends.
Around people that are hopefully pretty happy.
Good benefits. Happy kids. Not too many fist fights. It's good.
Yeah. No, it's really cool.
There's no fist fights in Disney World.
No.
You got to be pretty pathetic to get in a fist fight in Disney.
A little bit, yeah.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, how's it going?
It's good. It's good.
We're talking a lot of Disney today.
I love Disney. Actually, I got to be honest. I don't really like Disney. It's a little crowded for me.
Yeah.
When I was a kid and when my kids were kids,
Yeah.
Disney's the best.
Yeah.
I do know people that are a little more seasoned like me
Yeah.
who love going there. They go like every year. It's like part of their religion.
Yeah. There's a pretty popular Mac blogger I follow that's big into Disney, and he goes like several times a year. He's out in San Diego, so
Yeah.
a little bit easier to make it up there.
My dad had this, like, I guess it was a timeshare or something, but we would go every year.
Yeah.
He bought something, and we were there. There was like a boardwalk along a lake, and I haven't been there in a while. And then we did the Disney cruise. I mean, they got like hundreds of thousands of dollars out of my dad.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe more.
Yeah, the cruises are interesting because they've really been able to look at who their customers are and as they age or whatever, target them to different experiences that fit for where they're at in life.
The cruise is great.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And here's what happened with the cruise, and I'm going back quite a number of bourbons to remember this, but not that I drank bourbon on the cruise, but I like bourbon. So when we signed up for that, my wife or whoever signed us up, or at least when we started looking for information about the cruise, they asked us, I guess, about our family and what characters we liked.
Yeah.
And then this was back, God, I hate to say there weren't CDs. I mean, DVDs. There were DVDs, but they sent us a VHS.
Okay, yeah.
And on the VHS was like, there's a sticker, they put the names of our children, and next to their favorite characters were printed.
That's really cool.
On the video. So we hadn't even bought the cruise yet, and it's very expensive.
Yeah, that's just part of their nurturing process.
We asked for information. They sent us a video. Our kids, all day in the car, everywhere They wanted to just watch that video over and over and over again. It had singing and dancing and all this stuff, and it had their name on it.
Yeah, brilliant.
Brilliant. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
How, after my kids are watching that, could I possibly say to them,
no.
yeah, we're not going? Think I mugged 2 or 3 people and broke into a jewelry store to pay for that cruise. I didn't do that.
No.
But right?
Yeah, expensive stuff.
How could I say no? So anyway, that's our intro, right? So we're going to talk about Disney, right?
Yeah.
Disney experience, I like to call it.
Yeah, so you as a fundraiser, how can you give your donors that Disney experience?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, not for every donor.
No, for special ones.
For the special
Yeah.
VIPs, there's probably 1% of your donor list, maybe 5%,
Yeah.
that can really end up funding 80 to 90% of
Mhm.
your mission.
Yeah. And Disney does things differently. They pay attention to the little details and big details, like just how your park smells. I was at I think it was at Six Flags or something recently, and just trash, and it smelled bad and
It's dirty.
dirty. Yeah. And Disney, they have smells like piping into different areas of the park, so it
Yeah.
smells appropriate and smells good. And
Let's talk about details, right?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Disney experience, and we're just going to think about it and talk about it, and I'll give you some of my insights. When I went there more recently, I looked at it from a whole marketing point of view, and especially because I've read books
yeah.
about how the place is run and the way they treat people so well. Now, it's expensive to go there.
Yeah. I've not been. It's on my
It's
list.
very expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
Especially if you do the hotel thing and you're all in, right?
Yeah. Now, you can sign up for packages and everything, but it doesn't matter how you slice it. You're going to be forking over some coin.
Yeah.
The value you get is exorbitant. And this is the idea. I want to keep going back to major gift and legacy gift supporters and giving them that Disney experience. And it's hard. Okay, let's remember Disney is $1 billion corporation and they invest in it. But you have to at least have the mindset and the vision in order to even have a chance at doing it. And I'm sorry to say that many organizations, unfortunately, are run by people that don't get the fact that you need to really treat supporters like first-class premium members, if you will.
Yeah, you should put yourself almost on the cultivation list and have that experience for yourself to see what emails are we sending these people and how does that make me feel? What kind of gifts are we sending out, if any, and what kind of experiences are we providing?
Let me get
them?
all ornery like I do about this sector. Look, first I'll be empathetic. I get it. A lot of leaders of organizations, I mean, some are really good operationalists. They're good at getting the food to the poor. They're good at, getting the musicians on the stage. I mean, whatever. But to be good at that and good at giving a first-class experience to donors is kind of hard. Especially because I don't think a lot of them actually even donate to the organizations that they lead.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really hard for you to understand what it's like to be a major donor or any donor if you've never even gone on your own website to try and donate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The leader of the organization is going to drive this. That's pretty much what's going to happen. Most of the subscribers of this podcast, you can help, and in your own world with your portfolio, you can do what's right. You can do what's right, and you'll succeed. And if your leadership is not quite there, then eventually, you got to hop around until you find the organization that has the right kind of leadership that gets it.
Yeah.
Okay, so having said that, we were talking about details at Disney.
Yeah.
Now, some things that people don't know about Disney is that they will touch up and repaint all kinds of areas everywhere around the park all night long, and sometimes during the day.
They'll know when sunrise is, and they'll compute in the weather to factor in how fast the paint needs to dry and things like that. It's meticulous science.
Now, do you know why they repaint everything and besides the fact that it looks nicer than you just went to Six Flags and it looks schlocky, but
right, yeah.
Do you know why they really do it?
I don't know. I just know it looks brand new every time, right?
They know that when you went there at the age of 8 and then maybe at the age of 22.
Yeah.
And then they always want it to look like the place is brand new. When
okay.
you were 8, it looked brand new.
Yeah.
I mean, this place has been around a long time.
Yeah.
It could be completely run down by now, right?
Yeah, totally.
But when you go there, it looks just like when you were there. Sure, there's probably a new ride or this or that. But when you especially walk right in there, the first, through the entrance, it's the same, bro.
Yeah. Don't need rose-colored glasses to see it the same way. You can just wear your normal glasses.
And that's important for their experience. This isn't necessarily for fundraisers. What we have to do is we have to translate that into, so what's the experience that you want to give your first-class customers, your donors? But I'm just, I'm going to highlight that they know that there's a fence, for instance, that that little kids, for whatever reason, just happen to grab on, and then they'll like swing themselves around the corner.
Yeah.
Right. So they know that one pole needs to be replaced every 22 days or something like that, because it just starts to get worn out or the paint comes off or whatever. They know.
They know, and they do it.
And then that becomes part of their ritual to make sure that the experience is always the same.
Yeah.
And high level. Yep.
And another thing they do is they try to be authentic with the environment they're creating. So if there's a different country or region they're trying to emphasize, like this is the Italian part of the park.
Like at Epcot.
Yeah. They'll actually have people from those countries staff those locations to be authentic.
Yeah. I think it's a law. Like, you're not allowed to work at the Italian restaurant unless you're from Italy. I'm not kidding.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, no, you have to be from there.
So authenticity is big for
it is cool.
Doing.
You walk around the corner, all of a sudden you're in Italy.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, that's cool. Attention to detail, authenticity, although the whole thing is make-believe, of course.
Yeah, they'd be authentically make-believe.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
People, when they are giving, in this case their money, or giving a donation, anytime you give money or buy something, you're exchanging money for value. There's no altruism. We've talked about this before. There's no such thing. People who donate want something in return. Usually it's just plain to feel good about themselves, honor somebody, commemorate, feel that they're a good person.
Yeah.
So give that to them. Think about those major donors, and okay, so you're not going to give them an Italian waiter, but give them what they wanted out of their support for your mission. Find out what it is that they wanted. They don't want an Italian waiter, but they do want something. They do want something. Maybe it's notoriety. Maybe it's just to feel good. Maybe it's just to be praised. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe they want anonymity.
Yeah.
Give that to them.
Yeah. Part of the authenticity at Disney is, I don't know if it's part of the hiring process and they would just weed people out that aren't happy people, but they're genuinely, from what I've read, is when they say, hope you're having a great day, they mean it. It's not just trying to get you through to the next person.
Oh, they have a serious hiring process. Yeah. Well, look, that's another area that's ripe for disruption in the nonprofit sector.
Finding people that really believe in your mission and are authentic about it, just like Disney finds people that are authentic about, making sure the guests are having a wonderful day. They really find people that care about the guests.
Yeah.
So in the same way, nonprofits should be looking for people that are authentic and care about the mission.
Learn about another Market Smart podcast in this quick break. This week, I want to encourage everyone to check out the other podcast that I host, How I Built My Fundraising Consultancy, found at www.imarketsmart.com/consultants. The bi-weekly podcast gives you a look into what it takes to be a fundraising consultant by interviewing the best and brightest in the nonprofit world. You'll also get a taste of each consultant's fundraising approach by listening. Episodes release every other Tuesday. Visit imarketsmart.com/consultants to listen. That's imarketsmart.com/consultants. You can also find How I Built My Fundraising Consultancy on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and other podcast directories. Now, on to the rest of today's episode.
every 30 steps you take, there's a trash can in that radius.
They're creating an environment filled with convenience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they do the wristband things where you can just pay with your wristband, which is pretty wonderful.
Yeah. So
more convenience. You don't have to think about your wallet all day long.
this is what I always talk about with Amazon,
Yeah.
right? I mean, Amazon is convenient.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
7-Eleven is convenient,
Yeah.
right? Convenience really can seal the deal in a lot of ways. And I know we're just talking about at Disney World, we're talking about the trash can. But, that actually makes people feel good. I can't imagine that people really want to throw stuff on the ground. Can that make somebody feel good?
No. Well, I wouldn't think so.
I think everybody wants to keep the places clean. Everybody wants to keep the place clean. You want to throw it away. There's a trash can.
Yeah, and I hear Disney parks are amongst the cleanest.
All this comes down to what I always say about fundraising is that it's about making people feel good.
Yeah.
Just make them feel good. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. So, Greg, you were at Disney. Was Disneyland, Disney World recently or a while ago?
We were at Disney World in Florida, but that was maybe 5 years ago, 7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Why?
And I was reading excerpts of your book coming out next year.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you recounted this story of this kind of like things were blowing up and it was getting bad for you, and then a cast member grabbed you and pulled you aside, made things better.
Right. Okay, so we're having a great day.
Yeah.
It's a good day. It was
Sure.
okay day. It's a very hot day.
Yeah.
It was summertime. I guess every school in the universe was out of school. It seemed like everybody in the world descended upon Disney World, and it was extra crowded. I mean, they must have limits or something, but it was extra crowded, especially on the side of the park where we wanted to go with our kind of sort of almost like teenager children. And it was really hot. And we didn't quite plan it all out right. You do have to be a little strategic to get on all the rides.
You have to do the fast pass thing, or
Fast, but we didn't quite do it right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in line, and I'm trying to remember. I think it was like 3:30. We'd been in a long line to get on like the roller coaster. I think for what is it? It's like Hillbillies or something. It's like the mountain. Honestly, I don't remember. So we finally get to the front of the line. I think it was like 45 minutes, and we're about to get on the ride. And my son is sweating, and he looks at me, and goes, "Dad, it's almost the end of the day, and we've only been on 3 rides." And I put my hand on his head, and I kind of brought him close and hugged him, and I said, "Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll empty out. Maybe we'll get some more rides in." And, and that was the only day that we had.
Okay.
We were only there for one day. Interestingly, someone taps me on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
She's a cast member, someone there, and she's wearing her thing. And she says, "I'm really sorry. I did not mean to eavesdrop, but I overheard that your son said that, you guys have been having trouble getting on the rides. So could I just talk to you over here for a minute?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, we're going to get out of line. Am I going to be able to get back in line?"
Right.
She's like, "Don't worry about that. I promise you'll get right back on the ride. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I just have a quick minute, please." And then we went over there, and then she pulled us to the side, and she gave me the most empathetic eyes and feelings and vibes. And she looked at us, and she looked at my son, and she said, "I just wanted to apologize. I'm so sorry that you've had such a hard time, and that you've been spending all this time, and I know it's hot, and you didn't get on many rides. So here, I'm going to give you these passes so that from now on, for the rest of the day, you can get on all the rides. You can just go straight to the front of the line." I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Really? So that is wonderful. But then I was thinking, as we were enjoying the day, I was like, I don't know where she came from.
Right.
She came out of the blue. So then I was thinking, they must have microphones. I mean, this is Big Brother, but they must have microphones, and they're listening
Sure.
to what people are saying.
Sure.
Now that I tell you that, you're probably going to say that at every ride until hopefully they give you something, right?
This ride.
Or you say, "I'm going on YouTube and telling everybody in the world this place stinks." I don't know how they knew.
Yeah.
I don't know how they heard that, but she came over, and the rest of the day we got on rides.
Yeah.
And we finished out the day, and it was a good day.
That's awesome.
I mean, so you've got to have a feedback loop.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, plug, that's one of the things we provide for our major gift clients and legacy gift our nonprofits, is a feedback loop and a way to monitor people's verbatims, what they say, and their digital body language, what they do online. You got to have that so that you can treat people exactly how they want to be treated in a personalized, highly relevant, high value fashion.
Yeah.
So I thought that was amazing, and I'll never forget it. And yes, I did put that in my book.
Yeah. Very cool. Now, there's another book I was looking through, Inside the Magic Kingdom. So one of the things, as I was looking through his book, is I noticed that your competition as a nonprofit is anyone who's taking money from your donor.
Yeah.
So that could be even McDonald's. They could be your competition if they're doing it better than you.
Yeah.
So that is something to keep in mind. And creating the Disney experience, you want to make the giving experience, you want to make from front to end that experience better than other people taking your donors' money, whether it's them buying an iPhone from Apple or whatever it is.
Yeah, so Apple, and I bought it. I bought it. Yeah, so the Apple 10 phone, right?
Yeah, the iPhone 10,
Yeah, so it's like $1,000.
Sure, yeah.
It's $1,000 phone.
Like a little expensive, yeah.
Yeah, so people are talking about it, to $1,000, right?
Sure, yeah.
All right, well, yeah, guess what? Charities around the world just lost out on like $400.
Right. Yeah.
This is what we call share of wallet.
Mm-hmm.
They only have so much, and they're going to spread it around.
And buying an iPhone makes a lot of people feel really great.
It does.
You get all sorts of great endorphins, like, ooh, this new
the value is exorbitant.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It is, yeah.
So you're competing against that. At your nonprofit. You're competing against McDonald's. You're competing against that. You're competing against the next Disney vacation.
Yeah.
And sure, some people might earmark money for charity, but I don't know. A lot of them don't.
Yeah.
They need to be engaged properly to carve out that out of their budget or their estate plan.
Yeah, and there's a lot of charities that do a very similar thing that you do, and maybe they're better at communicating with donors and sharing that message.
Yeah, so you got 1 million competitors now, maybe more.
Yeah.
In the charitable sector, you've got people popping up, creating new charities from their kitchen table is going to compete with you. You got all these businesses that have billions of dollars. Like Apple has more money. I thought that maybe they would buy Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I heard. So in 1997, I heard they had around $3.5 billion in cash. By 2007, they had 14.7. Now they're up to $246 billion in cash.
Yeah.
It's every decade they've just been exponentially raking in the cash. Yeah.
Can you imagine if they just like bought a country?
Right.
It's an Apple.
Do you want to move
country.
to Apple? Yeah, well, yeah, live at Apple.
So they have that much money to compete against you to get share of wallet out of your supporters. Wow. Scary.
Yeah.
Huh? I mean, you better up your game.
Got to.
Seriously, serious competition.
So, Greg, you've been doing the Smart Ideas blog for a fair bit now, and Disney comes up pretty frequently. What's kind of some of the highlights from your past posts that people can take note of to create the Disney experience in their organization?
Well, I think number one is first you've got to understand who you're targeting. Everything always starts with the list. So recognize that for this particular exchange of money for value, you really have to target people who have capacity. The numbers are only getting more exacerbated. In other words, it used to be the 80-20 rule, and now it's more like the 90-10 rule, where 10% of your donors, or really, frankly, less, are going to make up 90% of your revenue. So don't fight that tide and think that you're going to turn the other 90% of donors into giving more.
It just won't happen.
It just won't happen. We all know that there are income disparities in the world.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to get reversed instantly.
No.
So if you want to fund your mission, start with a big commitment and an investment. And look, this is very self-serving because this is what our software does. I want people to buy what we do, buy from us, because we focus on this. So it's self-serving, sure, but it's not stupid either.
It gets the job done.
Yeah, make a major commitment, invest some money. You're going to spend $500,000 on direct mail to get, $25 donations, maybe even $100 donations. I'm telling you, how much are you spending on marketing for major donors and planned gift donors? It's usually not anywhere near the same amount as you're spending on the low dollar donors. So why don't you, and I know that you're investing, I'm sure, in gift officers or things like that, maybe even events, but no. You've got to leverage technology to do it well. So there's my sales pitch. You've got to invest in the right people. Start with the list. Next, I'd say you've got to uncover the needs, interests, passions, desires of those people.
Yeah.
So you start with the list, then you do the discovery period. You're going to collect information. You want to qualify who among your identified prospects are really interested, and you want to understand their passions and their needs.
Yeah. Just as Disney will find out how many kids you have, what characters they like.
Exactly.
They're doing similar things. They're finding as much about you as they can.
And they didn't do that as we were leaving the park. When did they do that?
Before.
Way before. Before we ever even gave them a nickel.
Yeah.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
We were looking for information. They started collecting information about us.
Yeah.
Then they marketed to us in a highly relevant fashion, personalized.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. So that's how we do it for our customers. We start to collect that information about the donors, about their wants, needs, and desires. It's not about wealth screening. It's not about capacity or where they work.
Yeah.
It's about what's in their hearts and in their souls.
So you can have capacity, but that doesn't mean you're going to recognize fit with that organization you're at.
I'm sure Disney knew that we lived in a nice neighborhood and this and that and the other thing. That's the identification part. But to get to the qualification part, which is not talked about enough in the sector, qualification is the key. So Disney qualified us. They started learning more about us and our wants, needs, and desires so that they could cultivate the relationship and ensure that we didn't go anywhere else for our vacation but Disney.
Yeah.
So fundraisers need to do that too. We do it with our donor survey platform, start collecting the information. I think nonprofits need to have a mindset almost yearly of not like doing their planning, but I think as part of that process, you got to sit down with a whiteboard, completely clear, clean, or a blank sheet of paper, and just say to yourself, okay, how can we blow it out? How can we completely go above and beyond expectations for our major supporters and our Legacy Society members? How can we give them the Disney experience every time consistently? I think you also have to figure out what you do better than everybody else and really hone in on that. You can't do everything great. I'm talking about giving this Disney experience. It's not about doing a million things really well. It's about kind of figuring out something that's unique to your organization. Like if you're at a symphony, maybe you can provide backstage passes or interview time, a round table or, maybe when during practice you can invite the major donors in to get to know some of the performers.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the offer, and just really round that out and build it and make it awesome.
Yeah.
Don't try to come up with 600 different things. You got to become great at one or two or three.
Mm-hmm.
I think that fundraisers need to have a giving mentality. You were talking about how Disney hires great people,
yeah,
people that really enjoy being there and giving, that wonderful experience to the customers. And I think that's what fundraisers need to do also. It's not about taking. It's not about asking for a donation. That's going to be part of it every once in a while, but 95% of it is having a giving mentality. What can I do for you? What are your interests? How can I match your interests and desires with what we're doing over here, thanks to you and your support?
And sharing stories about something that directly relates to their passion, like this just happened that we were able to do this wonderful thing because of.
Yeah, give them that story. give them those good vibes. Give them the report. Give them the video. Give, and that returns in exponential form. In the book Influence by Robert Cialdini, every fundraiser should read that book, Influence, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But he talks about and studied the science of the law of reciprocity. The more you give, the more you get back.
Yeah.
So if you give to your supporters, they're not going to give you back in the same level. They're going to give back in massively exponential form.
Mm-hmm.
So give to them. One little video link might generate $100,000 donation. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So you have to have a constant giving mentality and always thinking, how can I give to my supporters today? That boils down to then things we were talking about is look for ways to provide them with convenience, make it easy, make it speedy, thank them quickly and promptly so that they know that you received the check.
Yeah.
Otherwise they're wondering, like, did you get it? Then report to them what you did with the money so that they're like, okay, yeah, my money was well spent. Give them access or opportunities to provide feedback or to complain.
Yeah.
So that the people who complain are going to end up being your best supporters.
Yeah.
They are.
They complain because they want you to.
That's right.
If
They're
they
not
didn't,
complaining.
if they didn't care, they wouldn't complain.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. They want you to improve. Even sometimes if you explain why you can't satisfy whatever it is they're complaining about, at least you listened.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's half the battle or more, is they just want you to have listened.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Creating the Disney experience.
That's Disney
Aspirational
experience.
goal. And hope you guys
Can I
can
take
do
off
it.
this hat with these ears now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. For those that don't know, we've been wearing Disney stuff. The recorder here. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Thanks for listening to this episode of Engagement Fundraising. If you like the show, make sure to review it on iTunes and pass it along to a colleague. If you're curious about what we do, make sure to check out iMarketSmart.com and check out the How I Built My Fundraising Consultancy podcast found at www.iMarketSmart.com/consultants. That's iMarketSmart.com/consultants, also available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and other podcast directories. Thanks again for listening to Engagement Fundraising.